because the learning always precedes the level up, especially if you can learn and then implement. Because a lot of people, they're phenomenal at data collection. They're phenomenal at information collection. I know people that have read so many different books, know so many different things, are so much more intelligent than me, know 18,000 different languages, can code, do this and do that, but they lack the most important thing for that to all translate into value, and that's application. You became a master of learning and wonder why you're not a master of earning, because you learn, but you don't implement. It's better, I think, for you to take a grain of salt with this, but it's better for you to have, what do they say, like an ounce of learning and a pound of work. Go to work. All right, dope, guys. I want to add a little value to you guys before I rock this podcast. And I literally could not sleep last night. And I was thinking to myself, one of my guys from my old company was hitting me up asking different questions. And it was just creating in my mind. It wasn't creating. I guess it was just resurfacing value. And I knew I was going to be able to package it in different concepts for you guys. And recently I've been putting out a lot of content on the factual differences of different types of sales models and companies, and what you should look for in regard to where you want to be in sales, where you want to be in business and life, and what you want to align with. So it all comes based down to like what it is that you appreciate. But I think a lot of people are taking it as me being aggressive or unappreciative of where I came from in regard to my previous company, the previous model, the previous people in my life. And I literally put this in my notes. I put middle school appreciation. Appreciate the little leagues. Appreciate where you came from. Appreciate the people from the past season that even created an opportunity for you to get promoted to the next season. So this is an appreciation post for my past season, for my past company, for where I spent almost 7 years of my life, I believe 7 years of my life, learning from great people in a different league, in a different season. And I don't even want to use middle school or little league as a derogatory term or to reference those people as smaller people, but it's all relative to what do I want out of this life, and factually speaking. And I think you cannot deny the facts and the data of if you want to perform at a different level, then there's a graduation process. Like, I thought of it this way. I was like, if I were to go back to my middle school, would I flame my middle school teachers for not giving me college education, for not giving me, or think of it almost in relation to athletes, and I hope you guys are still following and can pick up on this reference. Think of it of like a sport reference. Would you go flame your midget league football coach for not training you and giving you NFL opportunities? Your I don't know if you would call it midget league soccer coach for not giving you major league soccer opportunities, coaching, creating a major league soccer environment? No, you're going to go thank that childhood coach, the coach that you first started with, the mentor that you first started with, and thank them and be grateful for how far they got you. Like, I'm grateful for how far my past season, my first opportunity, my first business model that I was involved in, I'm grateful for how far it got me. The kid I was texting with last night, he was like, but in all seriousness, bro, it's like, you made millions of dollars here. Now I know that you're on a journey to chase way more than that. Hundreds of millions, billions of dollars is the vision. But you do know, you have to know, like, this is where you started. And it was like, obviously, dude, it's non-negotiable. You know, I think that's very common sense. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? You've inspired me, because people need reminded, and they need things oversimplified. I need things overcommunicated, oversimplified, and brought down to the lowest shelf possible. Not because any of us are extremely stupid. Some of us are. But we need, as humans, we need things over-communicated. We need things very simplified, especially when, like, the only time we can substitute the simplification and the over-communication is when there's an extreme amount of passion. But for most people, sometimes that passion isn't ignited until later. So this little clip is for extreme appreciation of your past season, of the first girlfriend you had, of the first boyfriend you had, of the season that you had that you reflect back on and be like, oh, I wasted years of my life here. I didn't waste anything as long as I'm willing to learn from it. because the learning always precedes the level up, especially if you can learn and then implement. Because a lot of people, they're phenomenal at data collection. They're phenomenal at information collection. I know people that have read so many different books, know so many different things, are so much more intelligent than me, know 18,000 different languages, can code, do this and do that, but they lack the most important thing for that to all translate into value, and that's application. You became a master of learning and wonder why you're not a master of earning, because you learn, but you don't implement. It's better, I think, for you to take a grain of salt with this, but it's better for you to have, what do they say, like an ounce of learning and a pound of work. Go to work. So the first one is the middle school appreciation. The second question he asked last night, and this is literally midnight, I can't fall asleep, building this new business, and he says, did you ever beat yourself up for people not being successful? And what he's saying is the people that I was responsible for, them getting involved in my leadership, in my sales hierarchy, and me being responsible to an extent for their success. Did I ever beat myself up for the people that I'm responsible for? And I literally had a flashback. My first 2 years in sales, people ask, a gentleman asked a week ago, it's like, when did you start recruiting in sales? Because I'm a phenomenal recruiter. And I said, well, immediately, but nobody stayed for 2 years. I didn't have anybody successfully stick. It was almost 2 years into selling and generating results and having proof of a working product and system before anybody stayed. And I remember I put so much pressure on myself that I literally pushed people away, because I would be working all day, all night, no sleep, and I would come home so furious that if the people I was responsible for didn't work as hard as me, regardless of results, I would freak out. I'd be aggressive. I'd be saying, mean and rude things. And I would go run at night until I would throw up, and just to sleep a couple hours to get up and do it all over again, and literally rub it in my people's face. Like, you're not working hard enough. If you're not working all day and night, coming home running and throwing up, you don't want it bad enough. You don't care about your mom. Like, call your mom up and let her know you're cool with her having a horrible life because of you. I vividly can remember, it's like the responsibility and the pressure that I put on myself was good, but the energy just was wrong. Like, nobody wants to work for a tyrant. Nobody wants to be involved with a tyrant. That's what I was. I was just too aggressive. And this is what I told him. I said, in reality, I just needed to focus on being kinder. The leadership love language you can find in the Bible. And one of the best books I ever read was, I think it's Leadership Like Jesus. And I'll actually give you guys the actual title here. I'm the worst with titles and recollection of like books and lyrics. So here, I think it's Lead Like Jesus. Yeah. Lead Like Jesus. Yeah. Lead Like Jesus. Incredible book. And when you dissect, regardless of your beliefs, when you dissect like spiritual leadership, you realize true leadership, it shouldn't even be called leadership. It should be called servanthood. As you elevate yourself and you're responsible for more people, and you're getting compensated off of the efforts of the individuals that you're responsible for, it's a tax. Think of it this way. And the reason I call it a tax is, as Americans, we pay, some of us, we pay up to 50% of those dollars in tax dollars. You should get a say-so of what you're doing. So, about to start this podcast. I hope you guys like these little clips that we put together. This is going to be the biggest podcast I've ever done. So, super excited. Peace.